Morning and welcome back to Home Renovation Experts. Steve here. So if you've been following this little job for the past 8 odd days, you'll know that that composite area is now looking nice and is finished. C'est magnifique. Now, but for the French people out there, this section. So what we're going to be doing is, so obviously you've got the garden room kind of here. Before it used to have like again, same as that section, like really rough as a-holes. Decking had rotted and was falling apart and smelt weird. It's just not particularly nice. So we're going to re-engineer the shape of it, but obviously in composite. So essentially that's going to look like two boards that run sort of from just outside the doors across there, you know, just to kind of cover the crap area and kind of give like a place to put your plant pots and stuff like that, so you can actually make this building look pretty. And then outside the doors we're going to build a step which is going to be basically 4 wide, kind of coming across, and again it'll finish here next to the door, and then it'll return into just going to the 2 across there. So yesterday before I left I was able to get on the plastic trim joist ready for the joist hangers, so that is that done. The way I'm going to build this is, because I was thinking about it earlier, because you know you have to now back on site, is I'm going to build the sections separately. So I'm going to build this little bit will be the first bit I build, get that all leveled up, get it all done and nice. So I'll get the framework of that built, and then that'll give me something to hang the joist for this one coming off this way all the way through, and then just put my noggins in as I need to. When you're doing it, you have to take into account the fact that you've obviously got, in this case, 2 boards coming off of this building. Now I'm going to assume that this is a little bit pissed. It looks like it sort of juts out a little bit here. It definitely juts out a lot more here. So I'm gonna have to find my my levels kind of coming this way. But also when you're kind of building it, I need to make sure that when it kind of comes to like having 2 boards next to each other, I also have my L-shaped return. So I want to make sure that I've got enough space on the edge. So basically, I don't want to build it so that in my frame it then sits like that, because then I'd have nothing to sit this on. You see, that needs to have somewhere to sit underneath there. So what I'll do is when I build it, taking that into account, I then have that sort of either a double joist at the end. I'll see how many of these I've got left, or it'll just sit like that, so that there's plenty of space for that edge to then sit on and return down. So little top tips. I was just thinking about it, planning it out, planning your attack, and then cracking on. So I'm gonna do some double checking the measurements, and then I should start to build the step section first. And like I said, it gives me a section to build off of. Happy days. Right, so what I've done is, you can see I've got the first joist hanger on here, so I'm basically working about 330 mil from there to the edge. So that means it's obviously the step's going to be just out here somewhere. I'm putting it up double joisting this. We'll see what I need to do once I kind of start building it. So the first 2 are on either side. Now in case you didn't see how we did it, I will show you again properly, but I basically hold up an offcut when I sort of pilot these in, so I know that when I actually screw it in, it's not bone and twisted, the joist won't not go in, and also it's flush with that surface. I'll show you that in a minute. The main reason I did this video is, you know, sometimes you work for clients and they're just like, these guys are awesome. I already like these guys anyway, plenty of tea, friendly demeanours, easy to get along with, have a nice laugh. They like the work, that's also a bonus. But then, check this out. Face happy. Oh my belly. What time is that? 9:30. Yeah, that'll do for a lunch break, won't it? It's a very busy morning. I better get off and eat that. I know, I just checked. Honestly. Right, I'm going to crack on and eat that then. Right. So, you can see, there's my joists, those hangers. I've put this in, so what I've done is, taking account this is 50 mil. I've got 2 50 mils because I want to double up the joist at the end, like I said before, so I can get the trim on. I've then taken 50, 50 and 50 off of my total measurement of 640, which gives me 490. So I then trim that. But what I forgot to take into account, and you do, we all do as we're doing it, I need to leave a 10 mil gap just there. See my finger, guys? Just for a bit of expansion. Now, argument's sake, like, this is a teeny tiny piece of decking, so even with expansion, it's not going to do anything because it's tiny, so it's fine. But I won't bother putting like a mil spacer in this one or that in. I'll just zip it to it, that's fine. But I just want to make sure I've got my 10mm at the joint part. So that's that done. You can see I've just chopped it up as well. That isn't level, that's just so that I can operate and work at this kind of level. So it just saves you trying to drop onto the floor and trying to like screw these bits on. What I've done is, before I fit this, you can see the screws already in it. Piloted it with one of those. Joe, you can't see that at all, can you? Keep your tools clean, Steve, keep them clean. There you go. So I've used that to pilot through. Got my 100mm screw, ready to rock and roll. And all I need to do now is pop this up and zip it on. It's going to be perfectly square because I took my measurement from this end to there. These are twisted and bowed, doesn't matter. Once this one goes on, I can then correct it through the centre noggins as well if it's kind of going a bit that way or that way. Again, it's tiny, but by the time I double up the front and double up the sides, that'll give it a nice rigidity, and that'll be it perfect. So, yeah. So, I'll just zip this up, and that'll basically be the very basic part of the frame done. I'll pull that bit forward, that'll support that end as well. Top trick, move your supports there, and in that way I can just like lay it on it. Excuse the sniffing, hay fever's kicking in, and yes, I have taken my tablets. Unos. And you can see, look, I don't know if you can see, but it's trying to push itself away because obviously between that being pierced and that being bowed and all that kind of stuff. So that's why it's nice to kind of have something to push down on, keep it in position while I do it. Done. And I have a nice frame. So that's my very, very start. That's nice, isn't it? It's so nice. It's a petite one. I like these ones. So what I'm gonna do now is I'll get one cut for here for this edge. But what I'll do before even doing that is I'll get another one cut full front length, boom, get that zipped onto here. I will then get one cut from here to meet up to where the edge of this one is going to be. Do that both sides, so I've got doubled up. So, because don't forget that trim that I'm putting on isn't just at the front, it's also going on this edge here as well. Now, obviously, it kind of depends. Obviously, I've got like, is it 300mm, give or take, coming out here for this return. So technically, to be fair, I'll probably just put in a little stumpy one across there because one, I've got a few off cuts, saves chopping up a whole piece. So yeah, cut the front, cut those two side bits, and then do some noggins. The same as before. Again, it's only a small area, so it's not taking loads of weight for a long period of time, but I'm still going to put them every 300 because that's just what the manufacturer says, 300 to the centres. And that's it. First one through the centre, and then divide that section through, so there'll probably be one that's a bit closer than the other. Doesn't matter. You'll see in a minute. So, since I left you seconds ago, I've obviously put the centre one in. I can't remember if I did it in the last one or not, but that is now in. I've double checked my measurements now. Now the centre one's in because that's the one that's now pushed and corrected because there's a slight bow coming across here. So I've managed to use this to like adjust to pull it back into square. So if I measure from that side now to there, 59. From the centre to there, 59. And from here to here, lo and behold, 59. So I now know that this is square and equal through, which is brilliant. I then put 300mm mark from there, from the centre of this one to here, put a joist hanger, 300 from there to there, another one. So this is close to 300, but it doesn't matter. Extra support is always a plus. Obviously done the same this side. And then I've trimmed down these four, so they're ready to go. As before, I've pre-piloted the front. I had actually put on the double joist, which is over there, but then what I suddenly realised is that, I can tell you something, is that obviously then I couldn't get a screw through the double joist to fit into that as well. So I've just unscrewed 7 screws, dropped it, and now I've got easy access to now just drill straight through there, pilot in, and then screw in. So I'm going to quickly whip these bad boys in. And all I'm really doing is I don't care where it's going to sit there at the minute because I know it's going to be flush because again it's already squared up. So I'm just going to punch these screws in. Like that. Nice and easy when you've already done the prep worky part. Put them in good and tight. Unos more. Slightly awkward ankle because there's a trampoline behind me. There you go. All I now go around to do is secure these into the joist hangers exactly where they sit. I've already allowed for the cut to make sure there's a gap. I don't want to try and pull it that way or that way because I know the centre one's got its pinned. So I literally just got to fix these through there, pilot them, screw them, and that is basically that frame done. What I'll then do is take the double joist that I've already got cut, reattach it to the front. That's doubled up. I'll then do a tiny cut for this side, same for the other, and that, apart from leveling it, that's the section built. Right, I've kind of built the frame mostly now, as you've seen. Well, what I always do as well, just to doubly check all your measurements and stuff, is I know there's 4 boards going on this. So as you can see, I've taken the liberty of chucking down 4 boards, which is very nice. Now, they actually start off of the back of the joist, which is just over here, so that allows any water that's going to come here will just disappear and then run off of the slab that you can just see down there, so no water ingress into the building. I've put them all tight up against each other, so I know there's going to be a 5, 10, 15, 20 mil gap, and then take into account the fact that my internal of my corner trim is 35, I should need 55 millimeters of space. Let's take the tape measure and see what we got. Wow, I don't know if you can see that. Look at that, can you see that? 55. So, go show that. Pre-measuring, pre-marking, double checking, all that kind of jazz. Comes in hand. Doesn't mean I don't make mistakes. Sometimes I do this and I go, oh, fuck. As if it goes wrong. So if you're doing this at home and you make a mistake, do not kick yourself in the ass, right? We're all human. We can only sort of measure as many times as we can. Sometimes you're having a bad day, you're tired, too many cold ones last night, whatever. It happens. But before I kind of commit to sort of trying to put these balls down or continuing the rest of it going in both directions, I want to make sure this step is done. So now I've done that, I'm happy. What I've also done is, if you watched a couple of the other videos, I've done what I refer to as my fundamental level. So basically, in this case, I've just got 3 points of support. I've got the level right going through that way, and I've got a very slight angle running away from the building here. So like I say, I've got the gap back there, which you can see we just land on that slab and disappear. But again, you want to kind of encourage the water to kind of go in this direction. You never want it flowing into the sort of wooden buildings. Because, you know, why not? So there, I've done that. So what I'm going to do is now chop this thing back in a few other places. You can see I've used these gel plast adjustable heights. I've got a couple of bricks, bits and pieces lurking around, so that is on there, and that is solid as a bloody rock. I've already like compressed some MOT into the saw over here with a whacker plate. So a few more bits of support, never going anywhere. Once I've then done that, this bit is done. I can then work on the return over there, and I'll do the little return here, because then I've got something I can build straight off of now to give it a bit of support and a bit of love. Done. Right, I should finish my leveling and crack on. Right, so this one might take a bit of explaining. Here we go. Here's the first board, right? Now, the reason I've cut this board and done what I've done with it is because I can't really figure out exactly where I need to bring my support joist running this way until I know exactly where this one's going to be sitting. The reason I need to know that is because this building basically goes in that direction, and of course this side it goes in that direction. So I kind of need to figure out where my lines are going to be. So what I've done is, in order to get to, hey, what's your fit? I know it's 25 mil from there to there to get passed away through that joist to create this part, which then gets me around this little corner. So if you can just see from the back edge to there, I measured going to be about 25 mil. So I marked that there and there. Did the same the other end, because obviously I want it universal, I want it off the back. That's my true line, as it were. When I push this board flush up against the building, basically there's a gap. So as it's touching here, it then ran out by about 30 mil down that end. So I then knew, by measuring this 25 mil here, which I knew is exactly what I needed, I then measured 5 mil off of this end and then done a straight cut all the way through down to 5 mil. So basically I ended up with an off cut, like you can see. That was the original, sorry, other way around, all the way. So there's my 25 mil cut, and you can see it tapers down to pretty much nothing. So that allowed for this building going in that direction. I then had to do the same for this end, taking into account the fact that actually the building is pretty much flush from there to there. It starts level, and then it just can't, I don't know if you can see actually, everything just goes fling in that direction. So I basically marked 25 mil from there to there, which allows for my recessing to there. Marked where it was still level with the building there, done a straight cut between the two, and then the difference here was 1.5 centimeters. So then I just minus that off of there, and then done another partial cut from the straight joint down. So basically an angle from here to here, from there to there straight, which now means he hopes. When I push this bad boy in, which I did do a minute ago, but I kind of did it loosey-goosey. In fact, I'm gonna put the phone down for a second, give me a second. Easier. Right, can I see, when I push that in there, it's now basically flush with that joist. All the way through, just need to push that forward like that. I then double checked and measured from the front to here, which is exactly 49. The front to there, 49. So I now know that that is beautifully square. Now, the building can do what it bloody well likes. You can see that at least now, it's as neat as that cut is going to be. It now follows the line of the building, which is better than just doing a straight cut and then it having a massive gap that end. Same this side. You see nice and flush with the building as it follows it, and of course there you can just see it then buggers off at whatever angle that is. So basically this now means I can, let's see, what does this mean now? It means I can get on my side supports. Yeah, I can do that. So I'll basically now get a side support on here to here, just to double this out. So I've got an edge for my edging strip to fit onto. Do the same the other side. And there's one other thing I'm going to do, which will save me a bit of time later on. I'll show you that in a second. And in the continuing vein of like working out levels and all that kind of jazz, what I've done is I've now cut 2 lengths of the corner trim. You can see there, I've overshot it just a little bit because I will be using these bits for this part, for this return. But I want to put a screw in it temporarily just to kind of keep it in place, so you can see why now. So that I'm able to cut these 2 boards to the right length. So they're now there. They're not fitted, obviously. Same this side. Just so I could kind of get the measurements right, make sure it's all sitting correctly. Very happy. I ain't going nowhere. So yeah, so I'm chuffed with that now. So that now means that what I can do is I can temporarily fit another full board on here. So I'll run that through from this end across, which will then give me my levels and lines, so I can then start creating this next little point across here. So I'll show you how I'm going to do that in a minute. It's fun, isn't it? It's fun. Don't forget, if you like what you're seeing, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon, all those buttons you can press. It's like a smorgasbord of like buttons to press. No idea if I use that correctly there, by the way, but you know, I might have done. But either way, crack on. Right, so I've now attached a joist hanger, like I said before, leaving a 35 so that I can make sure that the edging strip goes on. Like, see, kind of building it live. So I'm gonna make sure that everything's gonna line up perfectly as opposed to trying to guesstimate it. So you're kind of working it as you build it. I've now leveled off roughly this bit across here, just again, so it's not just like flapping in the wind and being a bit of a dick really. So that's kind of that there. So yeah, so my next stage now is I'll chuck in 1 noggin over here to kind of keep it stable down this end, and I'm going to chuck in another like couple of 300 noggins all the way across the length now, and then do the same for this end. Obviously I'll just put a straight one on there and then build a tiny bit of framework here just to finish it. But yeah, so that's going to be looking quite nice, and I'll support this lovely jubbly. So obviously this isn't a part of the deck you're going to walk on, it is just for decoration, for putting bits and pieces on. But you know, you still want it strong, you want it good enough that it's going to take weight should, you know, people transition from here to say behind the shed and stuff. So yeah, so a few more little lovely bits, and yeah, happy days. Right, so I've now levelled it off as I've gone. I have also done these little bits and pieces, which is quite useful. Will be very useful in a little bit. So here, you can see I just put a tiny little upright. You can see it's just sort of overlap for that one, so that when I put this one on here to create a little joiny bit, it makes my life a little bit simpler. These aren't actually here for support though. I mean, it's cut so it's actually a bit taller, so it pushes into the saw. And yes, it will bear weight, no bother. But obviously our primary support system is across these big ones. So you've got another one there, and another one there, and then ones in these corners as well. Now the idea behind these ones is that basically it's all going to get finished with a board on the front like that. So that now means when I put it on there, I've got something to fix into. Because you know what? It's quite useful if you can fix them. And obviously that's going to be one length. So that'll have like 3-4 fixings. So I'll put one at the very end. So putting those uprights in now at this stage makes your life a lot easier a bit later on. So yes, so I'm going to put the last little bit down here. So just cut a bit across there, swing it into there. That'll be that bit done, and then it's really, I might then put these, no I won't. I'm going to build the far end bit as well. I was going to put the boards on here, but I can't because it overlaps that section at the other end, the first one which sets the line. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to cut the other end, and then I'll show you me putting some balls down, hopefully. That's it, end of the day, end of play. I've now managed to finish off doing this little bit here so they can see the bridging part. So that's giving it extra strength. I've created a little T section there, which will help bear the weight down this end. So that is all not going anywhere now. So tomorrow will be build that end over there, and then obviously put the composite decking on, finish the front, put the trims on. So yeah, I'll be done tomorrow, which is very, very, very exciting. So yeah, if you've enjoyed this, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit all that stuff like I said earlier. And if not, I will see you tomorrow morning anyway, because that's just what I do. So anyway, have a nice one, and I'll catch you tomorrow.